what is your process for determining what pivot, how to do it, and how quickly to do it versus maybe you didn't give it enough time, right? So how do you
Mm.
figure out that system of how to make changes really quickly? What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to Skorch the Fears. I have been completely screwing this up because I have been traveling, but we have the amazing Helena Wu on right now, a really good friend of mine. She deserves this. She's been deserving this podcast for a long time. She's been absolutely crushing it in wholesaling. She's starting to get into multifamily. It's amazing. Guys, everyone who's on Instagram, come on to YouTube for Skorch the Fears with Helena. It's amazing, and I'm just so excited to have you on here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so here is the first question I ask everyone, right? This is the first question I ask everybody, always right when we're doing the podcast, is when you were just starting out in real estate, what were your fears? How did you overcome your fears?
My fears basically is how am I able to do it while having a super busy W-2? Because I noticed, where I want to be kind of requires significant amount of work and time commitment. So how am I going to be able to do that within a reasonable time frame? Because I do want to, realize financial freedom fairly quickly. So how did I overcome it is basically, you know, break down the bigger plan, a bigger goal into a smaller plan, day by day, week by week, and just to make sure I'm taking moving needle actions on a daily basis. And just don't see where the top of the mountain is. Focus on the steps in front of me and one
Nice.
step at a time.
What were those steps? Like, what was the step? What were the initial steps in front of you right when you were starting? Did you create a plan? How did you focus on the steps in front of you?
Yeah, sure. So from knowing nothing about real estate to deciding, it's something I want to focus on to build my wealth, to realize freedom, starting by listening to a bunch of podcasts just to absorb knowledge as much as possible. And then, notice I need to be focused. Then after doing research and speak with more experienced investors, figure out the strategy that's the best fit for my goal, which is to, quit my W-2, realize financial freedom, and pick the strategy, which is wholesaling initially, and just really dial into it, attending all the calls, that Jamel was having, do exactly what he said. I cannot make 50 calls per day, but I structure my day in a way that I can be as efficient, as productive as possible. If I make 25 calls, that's totally fine. I just need to stay consistent and improve the quality of the call. So basically, daily plan would be, call, comping, focus on the action steps on a daily basis, as opposed to when I can get my first deal, when can I get there. The time just, produce the work itself.
Makes sense. Also, Helena, do you care if when you're talking, I put you this, and when I'm talking, I put me this? Does
Yeah,
this matter?
it's totally fine. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So when you were, I understand. So did you immediately join Astro Flipping? Because guys, she's talking about Astro Flipping. It's the program that we know each other from. Did you immediately join Astro Flipping before you even did any wholesaling or anything like that?
Yeah, so my wholesale journey started with astro flipping, but before I joined astro flipping, from listening to bigger pockets and stuff, I already start buying some rentals. So I bought 2 to 3 rentals already before I joined astro
Right.
flipping. So reading books, speaking with agents, so I kind of know a little bit about how to run numbers, stuff like that. Not so good with comping, but running rental numbers. And I know Astro Flipping and Sep2 when I was joining Astro, but I'm interested in both. And I want to join both at a certain point in my life. But I know, okay, to realize my short term goal, wholesale is the quickest way. So I want to join Astro first, build up my wholesale operation, and then join Sep2, which is where I am right now in both programs.
I love it. So you joined Astro first. Tell us the story of your first deal.
Yeah, my first deal is actually first 3 deals kind of back to back happened pretty quickly. Those three are all agent deals. Basically, I just call agent. I think one of them is very few days on the market. I just act really quickly to lock it up, and then a bunch of people were bidding on it. I think all three deals are agent deals because that's my focus initially, agent outreach for on-market deals. And I just leverage the people, the resources in the community, find this for wholesaler, help me sell them. And yeah, it just happened pretty quickly.
Gotcha. Where were they?
In Florida.
Florida. Okay. So then you chose your market in Florida. You were dispositioning them. Why did you choose dispositions
Oh no,
versus
I
act?
got the deal myself from the
Okay,
agent.
gotcha.
I was
You were the acquisition.
Yeah, I started with acquisition and
Through,
yes, through agent and
gotcha.
found this wholesaler from
What do you
community.
feel made the difference where you actually were able to get your first deal? How long did it take you?
It take, I think I got serious starting actually in August. I got my first deal in October, so 2 months, a little bit more than 2 months. But I would say the actual time would be a month because in the first a month and a half something, I was in several different market, trying different strategy, agent on market outreach, off market outreach, micro flip, all those kind of things to test the water and see which one's the best for me. So when I start focusing on Florida and doing agent on market only, it's 30 days something.
Gotcha. So then how'd you do it so quickly? That's insanely quickly. What do you feel you did differently than other people that got your deal within a month, your first deal within a month?
I think that the first 1.5 month for me to testing different strategy and market definitely helps. So I do count that as the working time too. And in terms of how I would just say, because I reflect every single day how I can do better. So for example, if I'm calling 30 or 40 days above market listing and they're all grossly, overpriced, then I would adjust my strategy to test, newer days on market, the number is closer. Basically, I keep doing self-reflection and refine my process, my system every single day and see what works and what's not. And secondarily is I just act super quickly. I think that's the key secret source for secret sauce for being successful in wholesale is just you need to act really fast. So let's say if it's low on data market, I just need to be the first one who is calling and negotiate with power to lock it up as opposed to giving seller a lot of time to wait for other higher offer. So being able to act quickly and of course sell it quickly to other wholesaler or to buyers, especially right now I'm doing more disposition side. I notice how important it is to be fast, to be quickly. And same goes to you are doing a deal with another wholesaler. If someone sends you a deal and you don't look at it or start working on it until 2 3 days later, then someone sold it already. So I think being able to act really fast is another reason. And just really, reaching out, tap into community, leverage other people, what you are not doing or what you are not good at doing. You don't have to do everything. Just leverage the resource, build relationships.
So there is a lot in there, Helena. There's a lot of gems in there that I really want to get into. Let's talk about the process of you being able to do something, but then pivot so that you're able to keep going, where you're able to keep creating deals and creating deal flow. So you did that insanely quickly. Within a month, you were figuring out how to do that correctly, right? So talk about literally what is the process of doing that? I know what it is now after 3 years of being in business, but for people who've never done it, what is the process of trying something, pivoting? How long can you try something for before you pivot? And how do you know when you need to pivot and on what you need to pivot on?
Okay. So you asked several questions. The first one is, what was the first one?
So you were talking about how why you think you got your first deal within a month was
Uh-huh.
because, for instance, you were trying on markets that were 30 days old and you said that wasn't working. So then you pivoted and tried newer listings, right? This is one example of a pivot, right? That's the word I would use is a change. So what I want to know is what is your process for determining what pivot, how to do it and how quickly to do it versus maybe you didn't give it enough time, right? So how do you
Mm.
figure out that system of how to make changes really quickly?
Yeah, so for me to decide, I think when I pivot, it's not I go 100%, just dropping the other one and start doing a new thing. For example, when I start calling newer listings, now I stop calling older listing completely. I just mix it in and test and see how that one goes. And when I see that one is more effective, that's why I, pivot a little bit more. So, and in terms of when I realized it's not, it's the thing itself as opposed to the time. It's just, I would say, still analysis, because I can just, okay, foresee if I keep doing this and this is a pattern, what's going to happen. But that's my hypothesis. I wouldn't prove it until I stay in that game long enough. That's why when I, pivot, I don't drop one thing 100% of the time, because let's say if, it's the last step for me to accomplish something and I just gave up right in front of that, then that's the last thing I want to happen.
Right.
To prevent that from happening, I would keep going, but at a lower volume, and keep mixing a new method. Basically doing what I am doing and test and trial a new thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Describe that process. Give us an example of something,
So
especially
for
at the beginning.
example, you maybe remember I was in California market in the beginning also, and
I
Florida
do. We
market.
almost had a deal together, and if only you'd stayed with it, we would have made 30K, hundreds of thousands together, Helena.
Yeah, I know. I was also in Arizona market, but initially I'm thinking, focus on three market where I'm on the East Coast. I can leverage West Coast, a time zone difference to California market. But then I realized, California market, what I dislike about it, it's a great market, huge spread, but I don't the stress of the EMD amount, especially being newer. I cannot dispose it quickly, and I don't that component. So I start focusing more on the Florida market, and then just observe what's important for me. For example, a higher transaction volume and lower significance. It's easier for me to take on and have that not mental stress, but I know it's not a big deal if I ever need to put up my own EMD, stuff like that. So, okay, that's what I feel. Okay, at this market a little bit more. And then I decided to shift to Florida 100%. And in terms of the strategies, just for example, my daily process after test and trial. Initially, I was doing agent off market outreach, and then I was just calling every day. And I realized, okay, because of my working schedule, first of all, the amount of time that I can call is limited. But for that strategy, it's really a numbers game. It requires more on the volume compared to agent on market outreach. And secondarily, yes, I don't have a good CRM system, but I don't want to spend time to figuring out the CRM system. I feel that's not taking real action. And off market strategy require a lot of follow ups on time, pipeline, all those kind of things. So I just feel it's not the best for me. And I just noticed myself not following up most of the time, basically just one off conversation. And I know if it's just one off conversation, it will never come into fruition. And in general, it's a longer pipeline, usually 3 months to start having agents in your pipelines, new deals, stuff like that. But for on market deals, it's there already. I know they are willing to sell, and I just need to find the closer one and then close on it. So that's when I realized, okay, based off of my working schedule, my timeline, my goal, agent on market is better for me. And I still did not fully drop agent off market outreach, but I just reduced the amount significantly. And when I say, okay, I'm actually close to getting deals for on market ones, that's when I completely pivot.
I love it. So basically, you figured out who you were, what you're good at, and then adapted your strategy to your schedule. So guys, what she did is how she was pivoting was especially at the beginning is she was pivoting for what worked for her style, for her way of getting deals, for being able to do it her way, which is what I think she got her deal really quickly was she figured out herself. She knew who she was, right, guys? She knew who she was. She knew how, and then she started finding strategies to fit into who she was. So guys, this is how you create a business is, for instance, for me, I'm doing off-market agent outreach because it works for me better than doing the on markets, right? I'm an insanely good salesperson. So when I have an off market one, I'm able to get it really, really deep. Usually my on markets, I don't get a huge assignment fee and I have huge assignment fees. Helena does 20 deals a week or something like that, but then has smaller assignment fees. So guys, it's all about what you enjoy and what type of business model you want to create, right? So then, Helena, there were two things, and you're gonna have to remind me. That one of them was that your ability to pivot really quickly and being able to figure out a business that fits your style of work. But then, what was the second reason you said again that you think you were able to get your deal within a month?
It's just pivot quickly and also act quickly in terms of,
So, what do you mean by that? How can someone act quickly, or what do you see other people doing where they're not acting quickly for some reason?
So, for example, the simple thing is respond to a text message quickly, right? If someone talk about business, ask a question, schedule a showing, a question from a buyer, you need to answer that quickly. And otherwise, let's say if you work with another wholesaler and they send you a deal, now it's a little bit different because I have a team, they are reviewing all the deals, but initially they send it to me, I take a look immediately and get back to them quickly. Because if you don't acknowledge them or get back to them, first of all, when they were in that situation of selling their own deals, they're very nervous already. They want to get it sold quickly. So if you don't acknowledge them, they will just go with whoever can, they think can help them the most. And secondarily is a lot of times now is when after I sold the deal, someone still haven't sent it out yet. And we received the deal at the same time. So basically it's just to realize the opportunity and act on it quickly.
Right. It makes sense. I mean, it's your model, right? I mean, because we're going to keep going into your story, but your business model eventually even shifted from doing acquisitions, right? Didn't you eventually become much more dispositions, or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, now I'm just 100 disposition. And
How did that switch happen?
yeah, so I think it's because the first few deals that I sold, after someone helped me sold my deal and I started selling my own deals, and I was able to sell a couple of deals at a significant higher price that most buyers are willing to pay for, and kind of got that reputation out there that I can sell deals at a crazy high number. And then people start sending me deals. And it's what kind of a mindset shift too, because in the beginning, I was kind of resistant of looking at their deals. I want to focus on my deals, getting my deal. And then I realized there is actually no difference. Why do I put in all the work getting my own deal when there is a deal right there already? So I think it was a little bit of a control freak and trust issue. But once I break through that mental barrier, I start taking a look at other people's deal and focus more on dispo and kind of shift to now 100% dispo. All my leads are basically inbound leads from other wholesaler. I do have a sales team. They are doing agent outreach, but for me personally, I just focus on dispo.
So tell me, what do you talk about that mindset issue you were having? What do you mean by trust and control freak? What were you worried about? And how did you overcome that? Because we all have mindset issues, right? Or that we have to eventually overcome. One of mine was spending money. It took me a while to be willing to hire people and spend money and make that risk.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you overcome those mindset objections in your head?
Yeah. So, for example, control freak is just I have been always doing things myself, alone, independently. I never need to rely on someone, and I kind of had the belief that if I need to rely on someone, then I don't have the control of things. Then I cannot decide the success of it. And to overcome that barrier, I just realized for me, let's say if I am working really hard, I get 1 to 2, 2 to 3 deals per month. I can only do so much as one person individually. But I know what I want to do is to build a business and have a lot of volume and make a lot of money, as opposed to, okay, this month if I'm lucky, I make 10K, I make 20K. Next month maybe the market is not good, then I don't make any money. So I know my goal require the collaboration with the team, or just a lot more partnerships than me myself. So after realizing that, I just put myself out there, and it's just get used to it. In the beginning, it won't feel comfortable, but you just get used to it. You get used to what's not comfortable. And the second thing is the trust issue. It's the same. It's I don't rely on people. I don't to lose control of the things. But that's what I dislike. But if that's the nature of the business, I'm gonna adapt to it. So there's a difference between what I don't and what's required. And if what's required for the success of the business is different from what I would dislike, then I will change.
I love it. I love it so much. Helena, thank you so much for coming on. Guys, this is Skorch the Fears. We'll be back. I don't even know if we're going to be back on the regular schedule next week because I'm going to be still traveling all around. Check out what's happening on my Instagram. I'm going to be in Atlanta Sunday at noon, Putt Nation. Go to my IG if you want to check out details for that. And then I'll be in Miami next week as well. I'll be in Dallas for a little bit for a CRM conference. So if you're in Dallas and you're interested in hanging out, hit me up. And yeah, and Helena, you absolutely killed it. And this is Skorch the Fears, episode 95. Let's go.